know that even though we are in different places and perhaps even different times, we are connected. And so as we say Unity's prayer of light together, we realize and come in contact with and align ourselves with the truth that we are connected with all beings. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. I'd like to share a few introductory ideas, and then if anybody else wants to or needs to chime in of some of the learnings that you are doing yourself, please do that. All you have to do is unmute yourself and speak. And if we have more than one person doing that at a time, we'll just narrow things down. One of the things that's becoming very, very clear to me is that, first of all, on our Sunday morning gatherings, I have become somewhat dependent on your physical presence with me. It's together, and how that energy in our presence together creates this field of spaciousness. I realize, though, that it is not our physical being that does that. It is our vibration. The things that I am being asked to do, and you probably are too as well, is to realize that we are vibration, that we are not trapped in this physical reality. We don't have to use that to define ourselves as who we are, because we are more than that. And that we are connected here in love and light and in spirit, even though we might not be connected in the physical realm. So one of the challenges for me is to go beyond my attachment to physical time and space. Something that I know is true, but I'm still looking for some more reinforcement. I know that I am more than my body. I know that we are all connected on something more than just the Zoom account. That we are connected in spirit. One of the other things that has become quite evident to me is that predictability of the physical world and physical life. Some of us might not have bodies after the trip is over. That's just the way it is. Is that the end of things? I don't think so. But none of us can predict that. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I don't know where you're going to be tomorrow. But I do know that we're all going to be connected. But I realize the importance, say that, of living in the present moment. You will find from time to time as we explore together this, that you will be letting go of your conscious awareness sometimes, and you will just yourself without thinking about it. You will experience yourself as being present. I just am. You are in, I am in my I amness. I talked to a friend of mine who is a somewhat of a psychic, and asked her, what's the lessons here that you can speak to us about? And she said, what the angels are saying is this is a powerful message in compassion. Not only connectedness with one another, but realizing that, as Ram Dass so wonderfully says, that we're all walking one another home. that we're all connected. That even though we might be isolated in our little physical worlds, but that's only our bodies, not our minds and our spirits. And so we're really being asked to go beyond what we have normally thought of as being our connectedness to a deeper place of understanding and a deeper place of awareness. I think the teachings that come from the guides here in the books by Paul Selig are very, very pertinent and very, very powerful. So are there any other reflections that anybody else wants to share as we begin this morning? If there are, you can please speak up. Just unmute yourself and let it fly.
Hi, Gerry, it's Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Thank you for that. That's so beautiful, that message from the angels. Thank you. I worked with angels on the situation yesterday also. And I heard something so interesting yesterday. There was a scientist that stated that where the coronavirus originated from was from where bats in a cave were displaced from their home, from humans moving in to their area. Then the bats, when they relocated, their droppings were eaten by animals that were then butchered in the wet market in China. And I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Mother Earth. I am so sad for all the humans that are still here in form that are suffering, and I feel their sadness and I pray for it. But yet, thank you, thank you, thank you, universe and Mother Earth, for talking back.
The thought that struck me one time, and I said this somewhat jokingly, is Mother Earth is saying, have I got your attention yet? Now we can very easily turn something like that into judgment or blame. The truth is that this thing we are calling the virus doesn't know boundary line, one country from another, doesn't know one person from another. We can say, what are we being called to do? One of us is probably being called to do something a little bit different, or to show that a little bit differently. For each one of us, the message might be a little bit different. What am I learning? What am I called to do? What am I called to transform? What do my teachers like to say? What's my growing edge? Bumping up against here as I allow myself to experience whatever it is that I'm experiencing. What is it that I'm bumping at? What am I resistant? And not necessarily to look for an answer so much in the material world. You know, I just came across this morning. This is from the poet Rilke. Do not seek answers which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live with them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then, gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant into the answer. The mind is always grasping for, give me an answer to this, and then I can solve the problem, and then everything will be okay. Then I can get back to normal. There is no going back to normal, whatever that was.
Thank God.
James, you want to say something? Unmute yourself. You gotta, yeah, there you go. I think you muted yourself again. Okay. We are on page, where is it? 173. No, the bottom of 172, excuse me.
Can you hear me now?
The book, don't worry about it. We'll read it out loud. The book is not essential. The book is a vehicle, just like our. these are. It's just something we're using as sort of an anchor or a grounding to be able to connect with truth, also to connect with one another.
Gerry, I wanted to comment on what you had shared about that it isn't any, society, that it's so beyond this. And I find it so interesting that one of the oldest civilizations on earth, where Buddhism and, Buddhism originated out of, how marvelous that they were the ones who helped Mother Earth say, do I have your attention now? And the wisdom that came and comes with this situation.
And I would suggest trying not to make it too big, because each one of us, as I mentioned, has our own particular challenges here, has our own particular stretching into love, compassion, understanding, surrender. What is it that I need to be letting go of? What is it that I need to be surrendering to? Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, that is what I've been pondering these last few weeks. What is mine to do? And as for me, I'm looking at this for Jim as what is it I need to let go, and what's going to be this, what's going to come as a result of going through this, this illusion called the virus. What am I going to be? It's really allowed me to be really reflective and to journal and to, I guess, up the ante with my meditation. And there's a scariness to it, because I'm going to these areas that are dark, because I'm feeling like there are times I'm like in this hallway going through this, and I see a light and it flickers, and so I guess for me, I'm just kind of resting in that which I've always called my faith, but just taking that faith and then making it much more than a notion that I say, but something that I just lean into. So that's what it's calling me to do.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I don't want to deny that much is living in mystery, something that the mind cannot comprehend or completely understand. I'm pretty much reminded, I know I shared this a little bit earlier, but it keeps coming back to me. It's rather haunting, that marvelous one-liner from Jackson Browne, where he said, I want to know what became of the changes we waited for love to bring. Were they only the fitful dreams of a greater awakening? I have no idea what form that is going to take. But one of the things I believe we are being taught is the form we have held to be truth in the external world. That form is no longer there. That form has been blown away. And what we want to do in terms of our own safety is we want to create another form that we can sort of wrap around ourselves and be okay with. And one of the things I believe we are being asked to do is to allow that the form, whatever that might be, that the new world is taking, as the Christ consciousness said in the book of Revelations, behold, I make all things new. I don't know what that's going to look like, and neither do you. But to let go of what we think it ought to look like, let go of trying to define that, and allow spirit, not our economic insecurity, not our physical world, not all of that. Don't let that create the form. Form in its truest nature form in the material world in its truest nature is a creation of spirit, not a creation of fear, not a creation of not a creation of ego. And so that's one of the things that each one of us, I believe, as a racial consciousness, but also each one of us as individuals, to do right now is to allowing spirit to flow through us to create the form that spirit can live in. Spirit doesn't live in bills. It doesn't live in money. It doesn't live in material things. It creates form out of all of that, but it creates form perfect for it to live in. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know that that's there. That's part of my challenge, because my mind and my thinking mind and my personality I can't wait for everything to go back to normal.
Gerry, I'd like to comment on that. And what Bill said was, oh my goodness, that was so beautiful about the hallway. And so now I understand a dream that I had this past week. And one of the things why I think I am in a different spot is I was a shut-in for 27 years from a car accident from where I had a brain injury. And I've been through homelessness. I've been through where I lost my job. You know, I'm on the other side of the spectrum of 27 years of knowing how to survive. And what I would like to say to everyone, the faster you turn to the light over and over and over, just turn to the light, like Jim said, the light at the end of the tunnel. What were those statues called that turned to salt in the Bible, Gerry? You know, the people who turned to, who were they that turned to salt?
And Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, okay? And Lot's wife turned around. She wasn't supposed to turn around. But see, this is the old punishing God of the Old Testament. Don't turn around. Lot's wife turned around. She didn't need to take a look, and she got turned into a pillar of salt.
Oh, I didn't know that was God. I didn't remember. I was raised Catholic. I know very little about the Bible. I didn't realize that was God that did that.
Well, I was raised Catholic too, but I learned a lot about it. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Can we get? Let's see how this lesson today fits in with what we're learning, what we're stretching, how we're stretching. Bottom of page 72. Now, if you did the exercise that we taught you, and you witnessed the one before you in their worth, would shut away, you have given yourself an opportunity to be liberated from the very things that tethers you to your fear, from the very things that at night in worry or in shame. In other words, stretching our own consciousness to go beyond where we think somebody else ought to be, and saying, no matter what I see physically, I know that you are light. I know that you are a being of light. I know that you are a being of truth. Even if I see that, even if I don't experience that at this particular moment. The relationships you hold, like it or not, are reflections of your consciousness and your own sense of self. When you are not valued by another, you must discover where you do not value yourself, or why you believe that this is appropriate behavior for you to be mistreated or hurt. I ended on that last week. As you claim your power back, and that's a tremendous thing right now, as you claim your power back, as you align to a new possibility of choice. I am in my choice to know my worth. We promise you this. The relationship that you hold must be transformed in regard to the claim you have made. Once I see you as unconditional love, there's no backtracking from that one, okay? It's like Ram Dass said this, once you're awake, you can't really fall asleep again. You can doze, okay? We can sort of fall into forgetfulness, everyone. But there's always gonna be that thing and say, no, that's not true, okay? I can't hold you in the dark anymore because I've already seen you as unconditional love. I can work on it. I can try to do it again. But once the rabbit is out of the hat, if I can use an Easter imagery, okay? Once the rabbit's out of the, it's not going back. You can pretend if you want to, but it's not going back. When in a story, you imagine an ending. You claim something to be so. Now here, get this one. You may not know to arrive to the ending, but you know you will go where you intend to go. You get that? I don't know what the ending is going to look like, but I do know the ending is related to my experience and my relationship to the world. And I know that my relationship to the world and its relationship is undergoing a drastic transformation. Again, I do not know what that looks like, but I am opening myself up to the possibility that the world we are creating now, and we all, not just for ourselves, but as a racial consciousness, the world that we are creating now can be one of love, of compassion, of equality, of looking beyond the physical nature of ourselves, looking at one another's as being vibrational in truth, going beyond form, going beyond our attachments, going beyond all of that, a deeper level of awareness and a deeper level of self. Who are you? What are you? I know who I am. I know how I serve. I am here. I am here. I am here. Or how about we say, we are here. We are here. We are here. When you decide, I know who I am in love, I know what I am in love, I know how I serve in love, you claim your power as the vehicle of love, and it is expressed as you. And we, by supporting the vibration in all you claim as the new reflection of your worth, it cannot be otherwise, you know. From now on, you can try to see yourself as not being love, as not being truth, as not being a high vibration. You can work on that if you want to, but it's never going to go back to where it was. I agree. For me, anyway, that's somewhat challenging. It's really an easy thing to do. Can you accept this morning? I think a couple of people might have their microphones off. If you wouldn't mind turning them off, if they're not off yet. I just hear some background noise that can be a little bit distracting. Breathe. Let's take a moment, do a little meditation. So I'm going to ask you just to, it's kind of nice, you're all probably all comfortable anyway. Get a little bit more comfortable than you are. It's funny when you do that, you realize, well, I really wasn't that comfortable. Now I'm comfortable again. Squirm your butt around the chair. Take a couple of breaths. Close your eyes if you like. Let your breathing just find its own rhythm. might find you need to take a couple of deep breaths to allow that to happen. That's perfectly okay. And once you stretch out that whole rib cage area and even stretch out your abdomen a little bit more, you allow your breathing to take on its natural rhythm. Knowing that breath and spirit are very closely aligned to one another. Breath goes far beyond the physical body. Because as your breathing finds its own natural, you realize you become less and less attached to your identity as a physical being. You are not breathing, your breath is breathing you. A few days ago, which seems almost like an eternity, a few days ago, all of us were probably defining ourselves in terms of what we were doing. I'm a Sunday school teacher. I'm a minister associate at Unity. I'm a homeowner. I'm cooking dinner. I'm doing this, doing that. And all of a sudden, many of those external activities are taken away from us. Now we can continue to try and grab something to define ourselves with. Or we can realize, as Jim was saying a few moments ago, that we are all being called to go deeper. Not just to find distractions for ourselves, as we are a little, maybe a lot more isolated physically from one another. But to go deep in this realm of spirit, of vibration, of what I need to enhance, of what I need to strengthen. See, we could focus on what I need to let go of. But if we flip that around a little bit, at the same time, we're also being asked, what is there within me that needs to be enhanced? What is there within me that needs to be healed? What is there within me that needs to be strengthened? And as the book mentioned, we might not know how to do that. That's not important. It's only important to the thinking mind. Hold your truth, hold in gentleness and power what it is that needs to be transformed, what it is that needs to be strengthened, what it is that needs to be healed. And know that through the action of love and spirit, it will be healed, it will be transformed. In fact, it is being strengthened. It is being transformed. It is being healed. Stay with that for a moment. It is happening. I am being transformed. I am being healed. I am being strengthened. Beyond thought, beyond feeling, by holding on to the truth that comes to me from my five senses. And as we begin to close this piece, this meditation, allow your breath to turn into a vehicle of gratitude. That you both breathe in and breathe out. One of the many that is aiding in my transformation is living in a sense of gratitude. And allowing it to flow to me and through me. You can stretch a bit. Allow another deep breath to come to you. Open your eyes when you're ready. Okay. Notice what it said in the last paragraph that we read. When you write a story, you imagine an ending. We realize this, but using your imagination, which is also connected to our intuitive energy, that we are going, it's not just making something up, Fantasyland, it's not Disney World. Using my imagination as a way of going beyond my thinking mind into another level or another layer of truth. Okay, can you get that? So when you imagine that there is an ending here, I might not be able to perform that it's going to take. When I imagine there's going to be an ending here and the human race is being transformed, is being healed, that is happening. I'm not just, quote, imagining that it's happening, even though those are the words that I use. What I'm doing is I am holding that transformation truth, even though I can't see it, even though I can't feel it, even though I can't touch it right now. I know that that is happening. It is happening for each one of us as individuals. happening to us as a racial consciousness. Now I can keep falling back on, and I do this a lot, I keep falling back on, well, I need proof of this, I need to look like I need this or I need that. Stop. All I need is the strength and power of my ability beyond my five senses. And to know that as the truth. If I depend on my five senses to define me, well, all I've got is my physical being, my age, my history, my story, my attachments, and that's about it. But we already know that's not who you are. When I say I know who I am, I know what I am, I know how I serve. That has absolutely nothing to do with how tall I am or short I am or have a beard or not, or whether I need a haircut or not. It has everything to do with who I know that I am beyond my five senses. Now, again, we're not denying the five senses and the reality they produce for us. That's just part of the truth that we live in. Not using that as a definition. We're using it as a description, perhaps. We're using our physical vehicle, our personality self, as being that allows the unique part of the divine to shine through us. But we also learn how not to define ourselves through that. As it says in the next sentence, you may not know how you arrive to the ending, but you will know you go where you intend to. It's that one. We've tried to define the ending first, and then we go there. This is knowing that I will get to that end point that I am envisioning in my mind. I see a new creation. I create all things new. I see a new heaven and a new earth. I don't know exactly what form that's going to take, but I hold that in my truth. Not just the newness of it. It's not something we just polish up and get rid of the old. But it's the realization that transformation is taking place within each one of us as individuals and as a racial consciousness. Listen to this. Interestingly, the next paragraph. The destiny of man, we say, the destiny of man is to be in alignment of his divine self and an authorship of his expression and mastery. It's that simple and that profound. The destiny of man is to be in alignment of his awareness of his divine self and an authorship of his expression and mastery. To be in mastery means you are. You know what you are. You know how you serve. And it is so. And we underline this. It is so. And so here I am this morning, and here's my personality self cropping in again. Well, do you really are? Or do you use all this stuff around you to define who you are? Do you know how you serve? When you do the dishes, is it a little baby Buddha? I remember that I was doing the dishes and I was slamming them around and doing what I usually do. And I wait a minute. Each one of those dishes is a little baby Buddha. It changed everything for about 30 seconds. Of course, then I forgot again. But
Gerry,
for those moments, yes.
I just wanted to say that what you just read about the book, I'm like actually sitting here crying because I've never had a connection with the book as I have now. It actually moved me so deeply what the guide said. And I do believe that the noise is actually them coming through.
Blessings. The destiny of man, we say, is to be in alignment of his awareness of his divine self and in authorship of his expression and mastery. We're going to do this before we close this morning, alignment with our divine self. The second part of that sentence. and in authorship of his expression in mastery. Here's an absolutely marvel. I wouldn't even call it a paradox anymore. But here is each one of us, you and me, seeing pictures of ourselves. We're seeing a little video of ourselves, or you're seeing a name flash up on the screen. It's like, oh, that's that person, that's that person, that's that person. But it's the realization, this physical body that we've created, this personality that we've created, this ego structure that we've created, which we used to identify with as being the truth of who we are, is actually the lens through which the divine nature shows itself through. It shines through. That's the uniqueness. That's the perfection of it. That's the mastery of it. The mastery is, you know, the image the book gave, I think a while ago, and it might have been another book that I was reading, but it's rather poignant, is to imagine that you are like, metaphorically, that you are like a lantern, an old-fashioned lantern with a candle or a little oil lamp inside, and that there's a light in there. But one of the things that's happened is that the glass on the lantern, the four sides of the glass, has become covered. And so the light is still just as bright as it always was, but it's having a difficult time shining through. And so is we're kind of cleaning the surface off. What I'm doing is I'm letting go of my attachment to that personality or to that ego structure. I'm still realizing it's there, but it becomes more and more transparent. The disguise that you're wearing, the disguise that I'm wearing, more and more transparent. So there are some people in your life when you can look at them and go, oh, that's the Christ. That's why it's so easy to pick up a little baby and you look in those eyes and you see infinity looking back at you, because they're still, even though it's unconscious, still connected to the source. And you see that, not just with your five senses, you see beyond that. Now what we are raising our consciousness to a level where I see that in others. Now again, this is a choice we make. Eventually I will be able to see through all of those that Teresa said, right? But right now the disguises are still very much there, or I think they're there. But what I'm doing is I clean that glass off, so the light within me, another Jackson Brown one-liner, when the light that shines within us reaches the sky. Oh, no, he said, when the light that's lost within us reaches the sky. The light that's lost within us isn't really lost, you just can't see it because the glass is so crappy looking. So I'm cleaning that off. All of my attachments, all of my prejudices, all of my judgments, all of my stuff. And I'm not saying that's unimportant, because everything that I peel away is something that I think from as well. But I'm kind of wiping that clean so that the light of Christ, the light of, I'm not hiding my light under a bushel basket. I'm not hiding my light behind a grimy mirror, behind a grimy piece of glass. So what it says here in the sentence is, in authorship of his expression in mastery. My expression of mastery of who I am is who I am without all the gunk on the lens. And every once in a while we can see that in ourselves. But you know, I don't know about you, but for me, that's one of the most difficult things. That's my biggest challenge here in life, I think, is to see beyond what my mind might be telling me who I am. One of my teachers has really challenged me to do that. And I find that I still have a tremendous amount of resistance to go beyond that. I'm not exactly sure why, but there it is. Now, one of the things that dawns on me, and I have all of you to thank for this, is that one of these things on Sunday morning, whether I am physically here or not, is 95% of the time, I'm not thinking about me as being Gerry Boylan. There's a letting go, there's a release, there's a surrender into something larger than whatever my self-definition might be. such a gift for me to be, not just to be able to share with you, but for me to be out of that box. So I thank you all for letting me be out of the box, because that's the truth of who I am, truth of who you are as well. So let's
Gerry,
take a couple of minutes before
Gerry,
we close.
just real quick, I wanted to say, just read Father Leo Booth if you haven't.
What was that again?
Read Father Leo Booth's
book. Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
That's why.
Okay,
that's why.
thank you. We got one little meditation and one other thing I want to share with you this week. Take all of this with us. Remember what day we are. This is Easter Sunday, a day of rebirth, a day of rolling the stone, of revealing what has been hidden, of going beyond the physicality of. He is risen. I am risen. You are risen. This day, this moment in reality, we have gone beyond our dependency of the five. Closing our eyes for a minute, breathing deeply. Stretching your insides a little bit. Our call to mastery is a call to go beyond our old definition of who we think we are. And each one of us is challenged to do that in a particular way. I don't know what that's going to look like for you. I'm not quite sure what it's going to look like for me today. But I want to be open to it. And so just let ourselves be open to that. I am open to the realization of a deeper truth of who I am. And I ask the angels, the guides, the guiding spirits that are around me to allow me to have and to be open to a demonstration of that as I walk through this day. And I am open to have a demonstration revealed to me. It might not be the drama that my personality is asking for. Demonstration of my realization of the truth of who I am will come to me and will be here for me today. I give thanks for that.
Hi, Gerry. It's Gail.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I keep having this thought. I ran across something this week in the Celebration of Lent booklet, that Unity, that we had passed out to us, the Fasting and Feasting booklet. Mm-hmm. And I think what you've been saying this morning is just so powerful. There was a description of the cross in Good Friday reading, and I've never really been able to get with the symbol of the cross, because I just saw it as suffering. But it said the cross is a powerful symbol of transcendence. The world of time and space is represented by the horizontal bar, mm-hmm. and the world of spirit by the vertical line. And that just hit me. I've come back to it every day, there's just, Easter has I've got a new way of looking at the cross and Easter, and we've been talking about transformation. Is a powerful image to me now.
Thank you.
I just love that.
Thanks for sharing that. Got a little poem I'd like to share with you as we close. It's by Dory Previn. I no longer plead with heaven or go rummaging in books for answers to the questions life contains. Now I listen to this inner thing resounding in the pulsing and the pounding of my infant ancient veins. I no longer seek from my father and my mother. I have mastered all their pleasures and their pain. Now I listen to this inner thing resounding in the pulsing and the pounding of my infant ancient veins. The feeling in my blood flow is a simple thing, you see. Everything and nothing in the parody is me. I'm the hero, I'm the villain, the beginning and the end. I'm creator, I'm destroyer, I'm the enemy, the friend. I'm an animal, a spirit, flying high and falling down. I am special, I'm important. I'm a clown. So I stumble through the chaos, dragging clumsily behind me all the eggshells and the fish scales and of my past, while this thing goes on inside me, at one with all the vastness, the fantasies and fictions. And when all the contradictions come together, they will fit, they will fit. The feeling in my blood flow is a simple thing, you see. I am it. We are everything and nothing, but that's how to play the game. In these weather-beaten bodies with these God-forsaken brains, we can listen to the universe resounding in the pulsing and the pounding of our infant ancient veins. Listen, and it all begins to fit. You are it. I will send that along last reflections. I am so grateful you are all here. We are all here together. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. You can all, everybody can unmute themselves if you want to and say goodbye. We will meet again next week and maybe even another.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Gerry.
Thanks for being here.
Can we do
Thanks,
this?
Gerry.
Is there any way we can do this daily with you?
Blessing. Thank you
Love
all.
you.
Thank you. Blessings of Easter to everybody.
Happy to everyone. I love you. Love you.
Happy Resurrection Day.
Thank you, Gerry.
Amen. Thank you, Gerry, for being here and doing this.
You got it.
Virus-free, Gerry. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
You
Be
as
safe,
well.
be safe, everybody. Be safe.
Amen.
Stay well. Stay well.
You too, Jim. Be safe.
Thank you.
Guys.
Once again, thank you, Gerry. Loved you.
You're welcome, Greg. Thank you, buddy.
Love.
See y'all.
Bye.
Have a great day and stay well.
Happy Easter, Gerry.
Thank you, guys. Signing off.